and welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that doesn't claim to be pretty. My goodness, no. But we will happily pretend to be slightly competent. I'm your host, Steve Cowell. Oh my, can't even say my own name. Wow. Wow, that's the way this is starting, huh?
That is staying in so hard.
I'm Steve Counsel. Jeez. You know what?
We're a little rusty. It's been a while. Let's give us that. Normally,
I would introduce Mr. Patrick by making fun of him. Not going to, because what I have is he's a man whose good looks were lost at sea, but apparently my ability to enunciate was lost at sea. So, Mr. Patrick Ayleshire, how is it going?
It's good to hear from you, Steve. Good to see you.
Good Lord.
I like that at least your attempt of a first contribution in every episode is a roast. It does set the bar really low for everything else that follows.
You're right about the attempt part. Like 1,000%. Sometimes I feel like, got him. But then other times I'm like, ugh, that was kind of like a limp noodle. So, well.
I am not going to try to combine Stephen Cornelius, Dr. Cornelius, Dr. Counsel ever again, because the last time I tried that, it was just a whole smorgasbord of crap coming out of my mouth.
To make matters worse, I was just saying my name. Something that people ask you when they think you're disoriented. Like, that's how fundamental to your brain and its working functions your name is, that I screwed up. So anyway, well, that's nice. Folks, we have tons of really cool things we want to talk about this week, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion. But, Mr. Patrick, I imagine our listeners out there want to know, who is our wonderful sponsor of the week?
Today's episode is brought to you by rehearsing conversations that will never happen. You nailed the delivery. The situation does not exist. Rehearsing conversations. Confidence in a vacuum.
Nice. Wow. Thanks, big rehearsing conversations that will never happen. That reminds me of a class that I had in college. And it was what the heck was it? Like psychology of communications or something like that. It was a really kind of like a bizarre name. But what you're referencing is an actual phenomenon called imagined interactions.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, there was an entire book that we had to read on it, and it was like super technical. It's your brain's way of trying to suss out a perceived threat by accommodating different like attacks. Yeah, it's really wild. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. That was a class I actually did decent in, so I remember it.
I feel like now I'm sure that I still live with this sponsor fairly, I don't want to say often, but like I feel like my high school and college age, I was like living this sponsor up.
Mm-hmm.
Things I wanted to say to someone or whatever.
Yeah. So. We all lived, or maybe some of us currently do. Mm-hmm. But I agree, those formative years, absolutely. Yeah, big time. No, that's well, thank you for bringing that sponsor to us. Your check is in the mail. Rehearsing conversations. We appreciate you. Well, man, welcome back into the States, good sir. You were a little jet setter there for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, it was last week. Took a little trip down to Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Aruba. I had to say that because I don't know if we talked about it on the I think it was on the previous podcast episode when you hear Aruba everyone thinks of
Yeah.
the Beach Boys.
Yeah, even our lovely guest last week,
Yeah.
Sarah Valentine,
Yeah.
even she agreed. She goes, "Oh yeah, I was singing it in my head." Like, yep,
No, no.
yep. So how did it all go? Yeah,
it was
I wanna
great.
hear.
It was a quick weekend. It was there. It was 4 days, 3 nights.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 full days. So we flew out on a Thursday out of
Okay.
Chicago. You
Mhm.
had Friday, all day Saturday, and then basically coming back on Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
Gorgeous island, really incredible. And the thing was, when I was looking into going down to Aruba, I just kind of had an idea in my head that it was
Mhm.
part of like the Bahamas area or the Keys, kind of in that,
Oh, okay.
that collection of all those islands. And
Yeah.
it's not. It is very far south. It's about 20 miles north of Venezuela.
I guess I didn't realize it's that far south.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and the nice thing is,
Wow.
like, in kind of just looking some of this stuff up too, is that they are so far south, so they're out of Hurricane Alley. Like, their weather year round. I think it's like, at least one of the sources I looked at, the average temperature year round, 84 to 88. Like, sunny skies.
What? Oh my God.
Amazing. So it's incredible. Yeah. Really small island. Obviously the hospitality was great. I mean, I don't know if it was part of just that you're tourists, they want you to come spend money, but they were, everyone we interacted with that was from the island or either had been born there or had been there for decades. Were just very accommodating, super friendly,
that's
would
awesome.
Answer any questions you had. So yeah, weather was great. We had stayed at the all-inclusive resort. The beach was right there, swim up bar, all that good stuff in the pool.
Yeah.
We did a little snorkeling as well, which was so
very
fun.
Cool. Yeah.
One of the stops, you jump on this catamaran. There's like 25 people. It was a kind of a brunch cruise. So they gave you some little things to munch on, some little breakfast wraps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they were serving drinks as well. And so I was able to have a couple mocktails, which was cool. So
that's very cool, man.
Yeah. So that was neat. And you're, just out in the sun there.
Yeah.
We were able to, one of the sites with the snorkeling was at a shipwreck.
Oh, wow.
So this was the largest ship that this is from what I recall, the largest ship that sank in World War II was right off the coast of Aruba. And it was called the Antilla. And this thing was massive. I mean, it sank in shallow water. So you could actually, like, when you're snorkeling, when you're snorkeling, you could actually just see it. Like, if I had scuba gear on, or if I could have figured out how to, like, plug my nose, ears, whatever, to go down like 10 feet, so like you could swim through it. But I did like 5 feet down, and my ears were like popping. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm this right now.
Yeah.
But it was like it was so awesome just to see how big this thing was. And then at another location, we ended up, you saw some tropical fish, but then also there were some sea turtles. And man, those things are just amazing. Like, just incredible how their lifespan, and then also how big they are, and just fun to look at. So
that's super cool. So when I'm wildly curious. You say shallow waters, like this gigantic ship sank in shallow waters. How shallow are we talking?
Well, that's a good question. I don't have an exact, even like an estimate. I'm just thinking because the ship was so big. So like, I mean, literally, like, it was, I don't know how many feet they said. It was like 400 feet, and I don't remember how long or length or width or whatever. But this thing was, the thing was massive. But it was where, like, again, I could probably go down, like, if I would have went down, I'd say like 15 feet maybe. I would have been able to, like, swim right by the ship. 15, 20 feet, we'll say.
Yeah, that is pretty shallow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really so neat. Fascinating. That's so crazy. Wow. That's super awesome, man.
Yeah.
Now, the catamaran that you were on, did they put you in, like, the cargo hold for the entire time? Or were you allowed to mingle and scare the other guests?
Oh, I had to wear a mask for sure. It was actually it they gave me a paper bag at first, but it got wet. So they did upgrade me to a plastic bag, which was weatherproof.
Just a hard time breathing in it, though.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fine. They let me take off my mask when I went in the water, but like the salt got in my my salt on my mask, and so it burned for a while. But
that's nice.
I was more concerned about getting through customs with my passport, because my passport doesn't always look like my face, and so.
Oh, so dumb. I don't know. That just tickled my funny bone. Oh my god. But seriously, it sounds awesome, man. Like it sounds really great.
The idea of like, I think you and I are probably the same, where we might take a trip, once a year, maybe once or twice, whatever. You have your local places you go to maybe a little more frequently, but just the idea of travel itself. Like when I was there, I was like, oh my God, I would love to have like a vacation rental here. This would be awesome,
Yeah.
And think about like, I could live here. And then like you get home and you're like, okay, I wouldn't want to live there. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's fun to get away and learn about, when you were down in Gulf Shores, like just a cool experience. You got to do it with your family, and just, it's fun to get away. But also too, it's also nice to kind of get back. Like, I was only in Aruba for 3 nights. I probably could have done like, just because it's traveling sucks, like, especially if you're going a far away. If I tell people this all the time. If I go like domestically, I'm a big city guy. So if I go to like New York or Boston or wherever, I'm good like 3 nights and like, okay, I get the gist of it. I want to come home. Yeah. But when you're going somewhere a little bit further away, like I probably could have done another day of just like hanging out on the beach or doing whatever.
Yeah.
But then I would have been ready to like, okay, let's get back to reality here.
Yeah.
Just get back to your day-to-day stuff.
I'm completely with you on that. That's why they're vacation spots, right? Like it's nice to visit. And I would assume that a place like Aruba, to live there would be absolutely gorgeous. Like if somebody was to offer me real estate there with a house and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, it's a nice place to visit, guys. Like, yeah, I would do that. But you're right. There is a beauty to coming back to your normal and just kind of going, okay, that was fun. That was a nice little, not even just a vacation, but a break from reality.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Especially, I feel like you kind of touched on earlier when you were talking about that's all inclusive. Like it is such a distortion of real life because you can't just walk up to you can't just like walk up to places. I mean, some people can, but I have a feeling those less than 1%ers aren't exactly our target audience. Like they're not listening to us. But I think the average person that is listening to us can agree that we don't exactly have just on-site chefs or I'm thirsty, I'm gonna go grab something to drink from. So like that doesn't happen. So it is nice to kind of get that reality check of okay, I'm back to my normal. So that's awesome.
The one thing I wanted to point out too before we get into our topic today is just like, again, when you're going to these places, I mentioned how far south it is, but like I didn't even think about it until I was actually on this catamaran. There was a couple next to us from Michigan. Go figure. Oh my right? God. You go across the world and you're
swear. Yes.
It's like Midwest.
How?
Yeah. I know.
Oh,
it was great. So talking to one of the guys, and he was he's quite a traveler, but he was saying, he's like, yeah, this is technically part of South America. And I was like, ooh, I checked off another continent off my list. Because it's part of like the Dutch Republic. So there's like a island of like through the Netherlands. There's like I think like Saint Martin, and then there's a couple others that are in that kind of Caribbean area that are part of like Dutch history.
Yeah.
But so it's like, okay, cool. It's kind of neat to think about like, oh yeah, who owns this? It's like when you go to like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is not attached to the U.S., but it is part of the United States. Yeah. So just really interesting on, kind of learn about some of that history and all that. So.
I blame, when you said it's only like 20 miles away from Venezuela, like I'm thinking in my head, like looking at maps, and it doesn't feel like that, right? Like, and it's kind of funny how like maps that we have kind of distort really the size of specific like land masses and areas. And you'll look at things like, oh, that's really where that is. Fascinating. I don't know. I probably should do more like, what is it, Google Maps, like where you can see like the satellite of the globe. Maybe that would be better because it actually uses, I don't know, like real data compared to like a handwritten one. But I don't know. It's just kind of fascinating to see that stuff. That's awesome.
Well, if you want to see how far things are, you can just go in and like do the walking directions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember this, Steve, when Google, I don't know if it was Google Maps or it might have been MapQuest.
I think I know where you're going with this, but yeah, I want to hear
when
it.
You would try to go from like, I want directions from Milwaukee to like Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It would tell you to fly to wherever out East Coast, right? And then swim across.
Yep. Yep. I remember that. Yeah. I don't know if I am making this up or if like there's like a memory that's been unlocked. I swear somebody sued. Like somebody sued like MapQuest or something like that because
they tried.
they like, I don't think it was to the extreme of like trying to like go across the ocean, but it was something dumb like MapQuest, and I swear it was MapQuest. I don't think it was Google. It was something along the lines of like kind of the joke of The Office, like turn left here, and like they drive into the water, like that, and someone's like, well, that wasn't correct. It's like, yeah, dude, it's not infallible. Like, come on, really?
You know who wouldn't have directed us the wrong way would have been Jeeves. He would not have.
Jeeves, our bro? No, Jeeves would never do such a thing like that. Jeeves always has our back.
Jeeves would be like, you don't want to go there.
Nah.
You don't want to go there. Stay here.
I don't know. I'm going to have to see if I can find, or maybe that's just a false memory. I don't know. But I swear, but I do remember what you're saying about like, yeah, get out, start swimming. Like, no. Well, thank you for the Aruba update. I was genuinely curious about that, man.
But you know what though? No Buc-ee's in Aruba.
Well, I mean, all they can do is go up, right? Like when you're at the bottom, you can only go up. I have a feeling Buc-ee's might take up a lot of space in Aruba, and I might ruin some of the allure.
Yeah,
it's a little bit. Well, folks, it's been a crazy week. Normally, Mr. Patrick and I only see each other via whatever our kind of video Zoom thing that we have going on here, but I actually got to see Mr. Patrick in the flesh, and it was gross. It was gross. For some of you that have been listening to the last several episodes, we've been hinting at and kind of talking a little bit about this event that I was very fortunate to be a part of called DisruptHR. And it was hosted recently in Milwaukee on the 29th of April. And Mr. Patrick was one of my plus ones. Wink. So thank you for being that. I really appreciate it. But I don't know. I guess I just thought it would be kind of a fun thing to talk about that event because all we ever really said was, I'm doing a presentation for it, and then that's it. And quite frankly, I didn't really know what to expect because I've never been to one of these. It's a completely different genre of conference that I've never experienced before. So I thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of talk a little bit about that. Maybe get into some of the behind the scenes that they don't want you to know about, that kind of stuff. But like, just to, and give some serious shout outs to the people that made this happen and the awesome people I was able to share that stage with. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of my thoughts. What does that coincide with what you're thinking, my man?
Yes, I think it'd be great to do a little recap on the event. I, as as someone who attended and got to kind of see all that play out, I thought it was really exciting. You're going to be able to share some of the behind the scenes stuff, which is cool. And I can also kind of talk about what I thought, and sitting back and, watching and waiting.
Yeah.
For, even Mr. Council to take the stage. It was just a cool event. And we'll talk about, the people that were there and just seeing both you and I saw being in the HR space. We saw some of these connections from lives past.
Yeah.
And it was really neat to have those little check-in conversations. And
I agree. I was able to meet a ton of people, whether that was with you, Patrick, or some of the other fine folks that were at our table, or just people coming up and just introducing themselves like, hey, I'm so-and-so. It was a really, really nice event. And the venue was beautiful. Folks, if you are ever in the Southeast Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, the specific venue was called The Gauge, and it's located in West Allis, Wisconsin. Really a gorgeous kind of rustic, it kind of had that Cream City brick vibe to it. But a really just a wonderful place. Apparently they host a lot of weddings at this specific place. But it was just absolutely beautiful, a gorgeous place and a lot of fun. I will also, that's a good call. Great layout is right. They had an upstairs that was dedicated exclusively to behind the scenes work, your audio, sound techs, and then us speaker nerds. We had the opportunity to go up there and either rehearse or just put our jackets in our bags or whatever we felt like up there, just for a little bit of privacy. So if we wanted to rehearse a little bit, it wasn't in front of everybody or in the bathroom or something kind of odd. So that was really, really cool. I will also, just as a quick aside, mention that, Patrick, you were one of my plus ones. I was fortunate enough to bring the missus. So this is, folks, you have to realize my wife and I have been together, not married, just been together for 22 years. Okay. So it's been a little bit of time. And this is the first time she's ever seen me speak in public like this.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Seriously, never. She knows I do it. I've done conferences and all these other kinds of things. This was a very unique style of conference. And this, I'll admit, I think this is the one I was the most nervous for. Normally I don't get that way, but this one I was definitely nervous. And of course, this is the one that she gets to witness. Oh, good.
So it's the
great.
First one. This is a little throwback for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time she saw you.
Oh,
you.
Wow. Wow. Really digging deep there. I'm thinking, are you going to make a joke about how she doesn't listen to our stuff? God, yeah. Saw. Mm-hmm. Folks, real quick. The first date I ever took my now wife on was to go see the movie Saw. So if you ever for a minute think you make a terrible choice, just know it could be worse. You could be me.
Did you also happen to have another plus one that maybe others might recognize?
So she actually was not one of my plus ones. She was somebody else's plus one.
Oh, well, someone that sat at our table, people might recognize.
No, I'm joking. I'm being very pedantic, but so you may recognize from one of our guests we had, Linnell Meath. She was also sitting at our table of, how many people are at our table? 8, 10?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful group. She brought a friend of hers, and we also had one of the other speakers sitting at our table with a friend of hers, which I will bring up shortly because I like to poke how dumb I am. But I want to just kind of give a quick little overview of like what this whole event was about.
Yep.
And the entire concept is to bring forward ideas that not that they necessarily go against the grain, but they kind of instill new thought processes in a very structured format of HR. Like everybody has this idea of what HR is, but the workforce is constantly evolving. So the idea behind this is to get a series of speakers, in this case, 12 individuals. We are given 5 minutes a piece with rotating slides every 15 seconds. And we don't control that. And when I say we, I'm talking speakers. So it is fast paced. And it is boom, boom, boom. Like you really have to make sure you're kind of hitting your marks in order to make sure that what you're saying aligns with whatever slide you have kicking on in the background. And I will make sure I mention this because I know some venues will give you a little clock, like they'll actually like show you a timer. Nope. We get to, there's a little cheater screen that they have in front of you towards the ground that will show you which slide you're on.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, so you kind of have to do this mental gymnastics of like, okay, I know that once I get to this word, I should be at this slide. And when I get done with this sentence, it should be here. Like, so it's very different. It's an extremely different format than I am used to. But I really think it was genuinely probably the most exhilarating because of that restriction. Now, I'm curious, Patrick, because of being an audience member, and you got to kind of see everything from that outside perspective. I'm curious on your thoughts. Like, did you like that format? Is there something that you think should be improved on? Like, I'm curious.
So it was interesting. I liked the format for the uniqueness. I think it was, and I liked the kind of the step out of the box approach, like you mentioned. Again, it's not necessarily going against the grain, but it's something, a new perspective, a fresh perspective that others maybe hadn't think of.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, fresh perspective.
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's something that you think has to happen. It just, this is an idea. This is a thought that could possibly change at some point, or a new approach to things. So I liked that aspect of it. Now, with this DisruptHR event, it was great. Not only were you provided the entry into the event, but you had a full spread of food. You also had the great spot there. But also, and the reason I bring that part up is, and then obviously there was a couple drink tokens, which were awesome. But then you were given some swag too. So it included a notebook to jot some notes down while the presenters were talking. And the reason I, again, bring that part up is I started that on the first couple. And then I realized as I was writing quickly, I'm like, I'm kind of like, it's so fast, 15-second points essentially, right? That I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose some of their overall message. So I stopped, I wrote a few things down, I think for like 3 people.
Sure.
Your time, I just ripped the paper out and crinkled it up and threw it because I figured that was going to be completely useless. Which it was. No, I kid. It was, but the interesting part of it was cool because you were like getting idea, but also since it was such a short time, it was like, oh, this is a good thought, but like I want to learn more. But there wasn't any more because it was someone else's turn to go next.
Yeah. So I think your take is really well put together. Like, I agree with you. I can't remember who I was talking to after the fact. Oh gosh, I'm so mad at myself. I can't remember, but somebody at the venue, when my wife and I were kind of on our way out, they likened it to like watching a series of movie trailers. And
Oh,
it was meant to draw you in more. Like, oh, yeah, I kind of want to learn more about this specific subject.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's a fun way to look at it. Yeah, I
That is.
guess
That's a
so.
good
Yeah.
analogy.
And really, as far as the time frame goes, I mean, a 5-minute quick little blurb on a specific subject, is that really that much different than a 2-minute trailer for a 2 to 2.5 hour movie? Like, no, it's really not. Like, it is a great way to introduce a specific topic and kind of have that real world perspective to it. So yeah, I agree with you. And funny enough, on our way out, I was talking to a fellow presenter. Oh gosh, it was, let me think here. Maria Nicholas Groves. I love that because I was like, I just remembered the name because it's 3 names in one, right? I was talking to her and a friend of hers, and her friend's like, hey, I wrote down a lot of notes for yours. And great, she can read it. I could not. But I understand because she was trying to jot things down so fast. So to your credit, Patrick, like, yeah, that makes sense, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool, though. I'm glad you got that out of it. That's really neat. Huge group, too. I guess this has grown double in size from last year when they first started. So last year was the first Disrupt HR Milwaukee event, and it had, I think they clocked in at about 110, 120 audience members. This was over 250. So word got out. Yeah, sold out. You're right. It's sold out. Like, you could not have fit another person. Like, I don't even know where you'd put another table.
There was no room.
Yeah, it would have to be standing room only at that point. But then that's really tough. So what a cool thing. I mean, just that it's gaining this traction. People are starting to take notice of, I don't want just the norm. I want something to challenge and assert a new idea. I thought that was really cool.
And the one thing I really thought was very impressive too, and Steve, you are welcome to toot your own horn here. There was 12 presenters. This wasn't 12 people that applied for this. There wasn't 14 people that applied. There was do you have it offhand of how many people?
Yeah. So I believe, if my information is correct, it was over 60. So
amazing.
Yeah. I was really kind of floored by that one. I thought, wow, I didn't even bribe them.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Mm-mm. So I've mentioned this on a previous episode where I have Googled my name randomly, like just curious what pops up. And there are much smarter Steve Councils out in the world. Like one's a professor at, oh God, I'm trying to think. He's a professor in the UK, I'm pretty positive.
Oh.
And there's another one that's like a computer sciences guy. He lives in Colorado. I'm wondering if the folks at Disrupt HR were like, ooh, yeah, we gotta get this guy in. And then I show up there like, well, that's the last time I let Google decide that for me.
Yeah.
No, it was
doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. Gross. What? And I will mention in my intro, I made sure grossly competent was in there. Patrick didn't believe me. I said, yeah, you better believe I did. So when the MC, I'm going to butcher her last name, Katie Rasul, who I love the name of her organization. She is the founder of Team Awesome Coaching. And she exudes this awesomeness. She was just an absolute delight, like so energetic, a lot of fun, was able to crack jokes like in between the individual speakers, and it always like pertained to them.
It did.
And it was never
that too.
Yeah, it was never detrimental or hurtful. No, it was always like just a tongue-in-cheek jab that everybody could kind of get a little chuckle out of, or like, and one of the presentations I definitely want to get into was the new Smoke Break by Tekla B. Ross. That was amazing. It was such a great one.
that was one that resonated with me probably the
Yeah.
most. It was actually, I went up and spoke with her briefly after, at the end of the event, after I said goodbye to you and the missus, and just told her. And that was, it really resonated with me, which we can get to in a little bit here. But we have and I'll bring it up then in a little bit, but we previously talked about some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
On our
2 or 3 episodes ago. Really recently. Yes. And you know what? I'm just going to get into it. Are you cool if we just kind of start diving into some of these?
Yep.
So folks, I will make sure that, we're going to definitely talk about that. I'll make sure that I link, like specific individuals that we talk about. I'm going to also link all of the speakers. So if you want to take a look at, their backgrounds and whatnot, I'd be happy to do that. But there was 11 other speakers besides myself. We don't have the time to get into every single one. So I'm going to kind of cherry pick a little bit. Yep. So Tekla B. Ross, which by the way, I love that name. I love that name so much.
Tekla. It's great.
Tekla. What a sweet ass name. Anyway, so her section was the new smoke break, what's really killing your bottom line. And I think if you just take a moment, you could probably figure out she is talking about your phone. Just the constant reminders, your email, the technology that we think as being this wonderful boon is often a detriment to our bottom line because there's a realignment issue. You take so much time to get back into focus. It's a really incredible thing. Now, the thing I want to mention, and Patrick, I think you know where I'm going to start with this. She did something to start that I was like, you got to be kidding me. Are you joking? So some of our longtime listeners out there will know my opinion on icebreakers. And I'm cautiously on the fence. I think there is a time and a place.
Yeah.
And when Tekla began her section, her presentation, she said the words, "All right, everyone stand up." And I could feel the hair on the back of my neck, all 3 of them, just bristle. I was like, and I looked, and Patrick, who was sitting right, so I was sitting in a spot, my wife is to my left, and then Patrick, and Patrick just whips his head right towards me, and he has this giant smile, like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, God, this is,
my initial reaction when she said those words, I was kind of annoyed, like,
but
I thought we were trying to waste some of the 5 minutes here.
But you know what? It worked so well. It worked so, and I made it a point. So folks out there are thinking like, God, you were just like crapping on this woman. No, I made it a point after the fact to talk to her. And I flat out told her, I was very honest. And I said, Tekla, got to admit, when you told everybody to stand up, every fiber of my being hated you. I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But it worked so well for what you were talking about, just that human interactive piece. It worked so well. It completely sold me on the entirety of your presentation. So like, kudos, you walked that fine line and you crushed it. And she was beyond kind, like just a wonderfully kind person. So Tekla, you were amazing. Not that I'm assuming you're listening, but if the off chance you are,
the energy,
you were amazing.
That presentation, it was just so uplifting. And again, for me, I was like, for almost that whole 5 minutes, I had a little bit of a smug look on my face, because I'm thinking here, like, 250 people, and maybe let's say 5 people out of the 250 were like me, who had been thinking about this topic for the last month or longer, right? I mentioned I read the book Stolen Focus, which kind of got me on the idea of like, okay, this is what these devices, how just crazy addictive they are now. And so a lot of the stuff what she was sharing, which she was making it into the workplace, but also involves our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there like, oh my God, yep, I've heard that stat, or ooh, that's a really good one too. I want to be able to share that.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of really good information. And the fact that she's writing a book about it is even co-authoring a book, and that's going to be coming out in the next year or so. And just amazing. And so that really resonated for sure.
Hey, Uggos. Patrick and I constantly talk about our own mishaps and pains and really just about anything about our adulting lives and workplace. But we'd love to hear your questions for us. So what have you always wanted to ask Patrick and I, but just haven't done yet?
To do this, we'll need you to reach out to us. And you can do so by going to our Instagram @grosslycompetent, or send us an email, grosslycompetent@gmail.com. We'll pick through and read off our favorites in an upcoming episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hers. I would be remiss if I did not mention the first out of the gate.
Oh, yes.
The presentation that was done by Jen Marr, and that was Own the Awkward: Why Human Disruption is the Real Leadership Challenge. Folks, if you do not know who Jen Marr is, you owe it to yourself to just take 5 minutes and just take a look at this just incredible woman. She's a delight. Like, I have the honor and privilege of saying that I know her, and I've been able to share coffee with her and just chat with her. And she is an incredible person. And I can't think of a better person to start things off at that event than her. And she nailed it. Just crushed it. I almost don't want to give away too much, because in the off chance that she does this again, or I don't want to spoil it.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, if you have the chance to see her, and you're in this space, like if you're in like leadership, the human side of work, and you see Jen Marr is on the docket, drop everything and go see her. She's incredible. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, man. Go ahead.
I thought her intro was fantastic. Oh, just God. A little like it was, and it all tied in together really well. But just the prop, was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll get that, but it was neat.
Talk about subverting expectations. Like, and it's funny because everybody that I spoke to said the exact same thing. Like, oh, I was expecting this. And it was just like, just like it was. And it called to her playfulness too, that she's so comfortable in this arena that she can also poke a little fun at it as well, which I think really only comes with just having that confidence and that know-all of this is what I'm able to provide. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Because I feel like I've only just been naming the ones that I really liked. Are there ones that jumped out to you that I haven't already mentioned? I don't know. I hate to put you on the spot. I'm just kind of curious.
Sure. No, I'm just thinking back to some of the presenters. I mean, there were the 12 all had really good points. Some stuck out a little bit more than others. Just that's kind of natural.
Oh yeah, of course.
I definitely want to give a shout out to you first. While I'm thinking of someone else, Steve, I want to say your presentation was just tremendous. I love that you played off the audience, knowing that it was going to be a little controversial. And I'll let you kind of talk about, since it was your presentation, I'll let you talk a little bit about what kind of the idea from that. But I thought you played it really well. You had so thinking of all the 12 presenters, I would say a lot of them were very, very polished. There was some you could tell a little bit like the timing was just a little bit off, because it's tough. Not saying it's easy, like, oh, I could do that. No, I would need definitely time to practice. But the idea of slides changing every 15 seconds is that you are hitting a point and then you're using some of those seconds to transition to your next thought point. Where there was a couple that were like kind of just waiting for the screen to change. And
Sure.
so it's not easy. I'm not saying it's just like, I can't believe it. I just noticed there was a couple like, oh yeah, you're kind of just waiting for things. And then it made like that 5 minutes actually seem a little bit longer. Like,
that's fascinating. Yeah, I can see that. Sure.
And like kind of a little, and the best part is I was sitting next to your wife, right? And she was nervous for you because she felt confident, but also like, I think you were probably a little bit nervous before. And then actually she said that to me. And then I was like, well, now I'm nervous. So like, it was like kind of funny. Like I knew you were going to do a great job. And it was like, it was so awesome. Another one I actually thought was that stuck out was Allie Payne, who talked about Gen Z.
Oh, yeah,
that
was
stuck out
awesome
to me is because I am like a Gen Z advocate in these trainings I do with my employer, because a lot of times there's not anyone in Gen Z to like defend themselves. And I'm like, wait a minute. And she used the phrase that I have before, and I thought was awesome. Like, people complain about Gen Z, like, but those are your kids, you know, like people are. Like,
I love that.
You raise them, and I love that. I love the phrasing of that. And
yes.
So that was another one that really stuck out to me. So
that one, I did really enjoy that. So Allie's, I was only able to catch about half of hers because I went up after her.
Sure.
And I was kind of just like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, in the zone, like just kind of like focusing more on like, okay, this is what I need to say. These are the things they do. But I do remember her saying that about, these are your kids. And I actually like audibly laughed out loud. Like, yep, that's so well put.
She took a good approach too, where it wasn't like some of this, like, it's not our fault, right? It's just different generations they're different because of it's a 15, 20 year gap, and people change and technology changes, and we change how we look at the world. And so it's not a finger pointing thing. And that's what when I talk about bridging the gap in the generational workforce, it's the same thing. It's not a finger pointing. It's how can we use our skills, our benefits to work together across the board.
And I will always get behind that logic. Like that line of thinking is paramount, because it's so easy just to point and be like, well, it's their fault. You know, they're lazy or they don't want to talk on the phone. So what, dude? So what? Like, just come on. Fine, they don't want to speak on the phone, but they have a million other wonderful things they're doing beyond your measures. Like, come on. Ugh. Anyway, sorry, that's not what this is about. You can tell, like, you sucked me in. You got me in there. I got to give a shout out to my fellow token male of the roster. So a kind of a fun little.
Oh, right. Yeah, I suppose.
Kind of a fun little bit of the behind the scenes is before the presentations were about to start, there was murmurs that there was a speaker that was missing, that like had not arrived yet. And we couldn't figure out who it was, because I mean, whatever, there's people everywhere. And they're like, okay, I tell you what, we're going to have all the speakers go up into this loft area, and we're going to go over microphone etiquette, like making sure you don't eat the thing, but you also, you don't want it way down, whatever. Right. So most of the speakers are already up there by the time I get there, and they're kind of standing in a little circle. And true to my form, I walk up and I say, oh, is this where all the cool kids are at? Like, just whatever. And they do exactly what you did. It's kind of the kind of a laugh, whatever. And one of the presenters, I can't remember to save my soul, one of the speakers goes, oh, our token male. And I look, and sure enough, I'm the only guy. And I went, I thought there was something different about my invite. Like, well, okay, fair enough. So, and I don't care. Like, I'm just happy to be a part of it. You kidding me? Yep. And I also know that HR is typically a woman-dominated industry. And I totally get it. I'm not worried about that. So we go over etiquette. Great. And wonderfully, they offered to take a picture of the entire speaker group. So there's a big old banner. We go downstairs. We're standing in front of it. And then this gentleman who, like, rushed in. You can kind of see some of the sweat in his brow, right? He's like trying to figure out where to like get into the group. I don't know who he is. And I'm like, yeah, man, get on in here. Like, get wherever, stand wherever you want. I don't care. Like random by person. No, he was the missing speaker. His name is Marcos Mejia, and I got to give this guy mad props. His section was on how HR and finance partner for success. Simple as that, right? But I made it a point after our picture, and I found out who he was. I'm like, hey man, thanks for not making me be the lone token. And he laughed. And he's like, we got to stick together, brother. Like, he was a great guy. Why I want to give him so much credit is he is a CFO. He's a chief financial officer talking to an audience of HR. And I don't think it's a secret that there is some animosity typically between HR and finance, because finance holds the purse strings, which rightfully so, it's their damn position. And HR wants all of these things for the employees, where finance is like, whoa, hey, pump the brakes. Money isn't growing trees, guys. Like, what are you doing? So there's this kind of battle. And he really walked into the lion's den on this one. And what I liked about his is he did a really nice job of keeping it light and poking fun at that kind of combative nature between these two departments. What I loved, but I also was like, oh God, is on one, he had like 2 or 3 slides successfully where he talked about myths about HR and finance. And the very first one that popped up was HR is an admin function. And the audience was like growing, like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing that. Yeah, that was in my presentation. Is that HR is a admin function, because, sorry guys, I got news for you. It is. Okay? It is. It's an administrative function. That's it. That's all there is to it. So I knew once they reacted that way, I went, oh boy, this is going to be rough. Oh man. And I was in my head trying to think like, okay, can I reformulate what I say on that specific slide? But then I thought, no, I'm just going to embrace the uncomfort and just call it out.
It was
jokingly just slam that out there.
You went with HR sucks. I thought that was a good approach.
Yeah. So I've mentioned this on a previous episode, but my section on for DisruptHR was we need to talk. HR and L&D need a divorce. And really the crux of the whole thing was it was tongue in cheek. It used the analogy of a divorce to show that when these two departments, these two entities split off, they can actually grow stronger and find out more about themselves than when they're conjoined together. And I use the divorce analogy to kind of show that like relationships start with really great intention, but time will always kind of measure whether there's compatibility or not. And in this case, time has kind of shown that perhaps they're better off as 2 separate entities rather than one mixed up jumble of a department. And I feel like a lot of the audience definitely caught that. Like they kind of joked like, oh, that's so funny. And I joked about how marriages sometimes will stay for the kids, quote unquote. And then shortly thereafter, I'd said, and just to make sure my analogy sticks, when I mention kids, I'm talking about employees. And HR and L&D, I think that's something we can all agree on, like, which did actually catch a chuckle, which I was hoping would happen, quite frankly. Like, oh my gosh, please let this joke land. Yeah. Like, it would be kind of important if it doesn't. But then I finished off things by saying, like, look, I'm not blaming HR that L&D hasn't thrived, but I've been friends with L&D a heck of a lot longer, so I am biased. Like, so just poking fun at it. But the slide that came up where I mentioned that HR is an admin function where L&D tends to lend itself more to strategy for the workforce. I was so nervous for that. I was like, oh, these people are going to grab pitchforks. But you know what? Everybody was gracious about it. They had some fun with it. Even afterwards, when I was talking to people, I kind of joked and used the line from Rick and Morty, and that is, I will take your booze because I've seen what makes you applaud. And just poking fun at it. And people were so gracious. My God, were they gracious. Just, it was a real breath of fresh air to kind of have that. It was a fun endeavor to do something totally out of my element, just completely out of it. But yeah, well, I'm going to give you one more little background piece. Sure. And this will, I think, also add to my, oh my God. So I didn't want to have a piece of paper to rehearse off of, because I didn't want to, the way I was practicing was not having something in my hands. What I would do is I would hold my phone because I had to be holding a microphone. I wanted to be as true to the experience as possible when I was practicing. So I didn't want paper in front of me, like I'm reading over it or like using it as a cheat. And I'm like kicking myself. So I saved the presentation, the the PowerPoint, into my Google Drive and my quote unquote script, like the things I knew I wanted to hit for every slide, as its own separate piece in my Google Drive as well. And then what I thought I did was I updated my script and replaced that. No, I didn't. I had my old script, and I was like, oh no, well, I can't even look at this, like, to even practice because it's wrong. It's totally, I revamped it. I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. I know what I want to say for each of the slides, so I'll just review the slides. My phone yells at me and says, this is too big to preview. It's like, oh my God. Like everything that I needed to do wasn't working. So I am scouring, like, okay, how can I open a zip drive? Like, oh my God, like trying to figure all these things out. Whatever. I end up going out onto a balcony and just trying to rehearse it from memory. Like, okay, this is what I want to say here. This is what this is. And whatever.
You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell that all that happened behind the scenes.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. If anybody was outside at some time, they definitely heard me saying some 4-letter words. I was like, are you joking right now? Oh, I could not believe it. But it was one of those things. I knew I was coming up. Like, well, it's now or never. Let's do this. I'm just going out there. But well, I'm happy to hear that it seemed like it went so clean.
And you can tell that you do facilitation as part of your day-to-day.
Oh, well, thank you.
Seems, that it seemed very polished, and there wasn't like, yes, you had some hiccups possibly that came up before that you were, you had to kind of pivot for, but like, that happens to us a lot.
Oh gosh. So we have to, without a doubt,
you have to adjust, and
you always have to have a plan B, right? Like there's always, technology fails. And this is a great example of that. Like what I should have done was still just had a print off in case, in case. And I understand where I was coming from. Like, I think my logic was sound, but I should have prepped for the worst case, and I didn't. But I guess all the hours that I spent rehearsing it and practicing did work out. And I told my wife that like I was nervous. I won't lie. I was very nervous. And it's one thing to speak in front of an audience that you're facilitating, like a department, a team, a company, whatever. Like I can do those all day long. That's totally fine. But being in front of a large group of your peers, and you're also throwing something at them that goes against the grain of like their beliefs, that's rough. Like that's a strong one to take. But it was, I would not take it back. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And as soon as I got up there and I started talking, I could actually feel those nerves dissipate. Like, okay. Because, and folks out there, my biggest bit of advice, and Patrick, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. If you are that type of person that has been afraid to present in front of an audience, or you feel like you're not good with the public speaking, my number one recommendation is know what you're going to say. Like, know your content. Because if somebody asks you about a hobby of yours, you have no qualms about that. Like, yeah, it's blah, blah, blah. Like, you'll talk about that all day long. What people get hung up on is they feel like they have to have everything memorized. Like, they have to say it verbatim, word for word. That's really not the case. And the audience knows that too.
Yeah.
And when you screw up, typically, unless you call it out, people don't know. Like, it's not as big of a nightmare scenario as most people probably play it out to be. So just my words of wisdom, if you will.
Yeah.
I feel like we're running long, but there are a few things I really wanted to make sure I hit. So are you okay with that?
Let's do it.
All right. I got to give a shout out to you, Mr. Patrick.
What?
Yeah, we definitely have to put this in the show notes. And did we put maybe I can't remember if I put something on Instagram. Is it? It is. Okay.
I posted that.
Nice. So after everything was all said and done, the speakers all spoke. I was met by Mr. Patrick handing me a brown paper bag so we could take our grossly competent picture there live. And it was awesome. Like, just that absolutely just cracked me up. That was so awesome. And it was a great way just to like have that relief of like, okay, yeah, you're right. I can come back down to reality. Wow, this is incredible. Like, that was so cool, dude.
So I went out to my car at intermission because I know you were coming up next. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll wait till intermission, and then you're gonna be up a couple people after that.
Yeah.
And so I brought it back with me, and Tara looks at me and she's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to take a pic. I want to get some pictures with Steve's." I think I had to like at first. I think she got a little nervous, like, "Oh my God, don't put that on your head." Like, while other people are talking, she's like, "You're going to wait till after?" I'm like, "Oh God, yeah, no, this isn't for me to sit here at the table." Like, what a dick move. If like you're all nervous, you come out and you look over at the table and there's a guy with a brown paper bag with a smiley face on it. I was like, no. I go, this is for like whenever this whole thing's over, I want to get a picture with Steve with the bag. She's like, okay. She goes, well, put it under the table. He's going to see it. So like, we had like, it was great. We were like, okay. So we put it under the tablecloth. So you couldn't, when you came back and sat down, you couldn't see they were there. So
I got to tell you, even if you would have been wearing it, I don't think I would have saw it. Only because, and they told us this like during the microphone etiquette. I was trying to think of what they called it.
Sure.
The microphone etiquette bit. They had told us deliberately, like, make sure you stand only between these two specific spaces. And they were right, because if you ventured too far over, the lights they had were blinding.
Okay.
Were blinding. So like, I could really only see the people directly in front of me. Like, and by say directly, I mean like if you kind of just like tunnel vision, go forward. And even that was difficult just because of the lights. But people to like the right and the left-hand sides, no. Like, I couldn't have told you, honest to goodness, if there was nobody at the table, I couldn't have told you that. Like, it was, and plus, your brain is going into overdrive of like, I need to make sure I hit these pieces, right? So I love it, and I appreciate that, because maybe in the off chance I just saw that and probably just busted out laughing. Who knows? Maybe you should have. I don't know, man. It'd have been a great way to introduce the pod. Be like, you see that guy right there? I interrupt him all the time on our podcast, and now he's doing it to me. Right
Yeah.
on, man.
That was great.
No, I loved that so much. And interestingly, directly after we were taking our pictures and we take them off, the bags off, and we're sitting there chatting, there was a very nice woman standing off to the side. And I thought she was trying to get past you and I to go to like these back rooms or something.
Sure.
And she goes, well, no, I wanted to talk to you. And she points at me. And I kid you not, my first thought was, why? What? No, she was lovely. Casey, if you are listening, I promise I have been thinking a lot about what you were asking me, and I'm trying to compile some things for you. But it was just a wonderful, wonderful little conversation. And that really pulled my heartstrings. I thought that was very sweet that she came up to me and was asking me my opinion. I know she was asking my opinion, which I don't really know what that says about her character, but she was asking about it. And it was really nice. The last thing I'll bring up, and then I'm going to seriously leave you to do the rest of the talking. So I mentioned how Jen Marr was at our table and she brought a friend of hers, and I sat next to her friend. And when I was looking at her, I'm like, you look familiar, but like, I don't know, who knows? Like, you could be 100 million people. And I only talked to her for like little bits at a time, and just a wonderfully delightful person, just such a wonderful woman. And it was only the next day that I was talking to Linnell Meath, and Linnell says to me, do you know who you were sitting next to the whole time? I said, well, and I kid you not, I said, yeah, Jen's friend. Right? I'm like, yeah, she was super nice. She goes, well, yes, that is Jen's friend, but that's also Katrina Cravey.
Yep, recognized her.
And I was like, why do I know that name? And she goes, oh, just because she's like an Emmy-winning journalist. Has like just this absolutely unbelievable career. And I am so glad I didn't know that at the time, because I think I would have been like nervous to talk to her. Like, and I just was shooting the breeze with her like I would with anyone. Like, hey, so blah, blah, blah. Just nothing. Because I'm dumb. And I wonder if part of her was like, thank God this idiot doesn't know who I am. So Katrina, this is too lowbrow for you. This podcast too lowbrow. No, she was an absolute delight. Just a fantastic person to talk to. But I thought that was really, really eye-opening. Like, oh, okay, fair enough. I guess I'm just sitting next to journalism royalty to my right, and I'm too oblivious to know. So you did know, like you were aware?
I recognized her. Yeah, I said it took
so
me
funny.
probably about 30 seconds. I was like, I know that face somewhere. And those of you that are listening, she was, again, as Steve said, multi-award winning journalist in the Milwaukee area. Gosh. She was on one of our local affiliates, Fox affiliates for, I think, probably 20 years or so, and has gone on to do some other great things as well. But I recognized the face. And so I was like, yeah, I think that's her. And so I didn't go ahead and like fanboy, but I was like, I recognized her.
I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try my best. So when I told my wife this the next day, I'm like, yeah, did you know this? She's like, oh my gosh, no, I feel really dumb. I'm like, oh, don't. Like, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? She's like, well, I kind of want to find out more about this woman. So she does, and she's like, oh, like every like line of information she's reading about this person, she's like, did you know she was an intern for Ronald Reagan's speech team? I'm like, wow. Yeah. And then she spent 5 minutes listening to me. Like, what? Oh, okay. Like, yeah, I think she's got a pretty strong story experience background. Like, oh my God. Like, just crazy. But she was so nice.
So you're saying she's listening to us now?
I don't know. Maybe. I guess. But I told you I was gonna stop after those couple things. If there's anything you felt like adding, good sir, please do.
No, I mean, overall, it's to kind of wrap up. I think it was a great event. Yeah. It's definitely unique. And
yeah,
I know they're doing these nationwide now, so they're in X amount of cities, and it's cool to see that the Milwaukee. The joke I gave was that Milwaukee DisruptHR, you more like Disrupt West Allis because that's where we are. But it's a joke. I am a Milwaukeean, so I like to give West Allis great little city west of Milwaukee. But no, I thought it was really cool. I loved the variety of the different presenters, even ones that I didn't connect with as much. I think they were all interesting in their own way. And that's something really good to think about. So. Yeah, I doing the work that I do, I did tie into a few of them that really were like hit home. Especially one of the last ones of that Dana mentioned, who really owns psychological safety. I thought that was really cool too, because that's something that we talk a lot about at with my employer. So overall, I thought it was great. Yeah, just a cool event. I appreciate you allowing me to come be your plus one.
Oh no, I loved having you there, man. Sincerely, thank you so much. Right. Well, Patrick, do you know who we should never be disruptive of?
The Spin-a-Rooski.
Yeah, the Spin-a-Rooski. It is indeed. And while Mr. Patrick fires up the very wooden wheel, a reminder for listeners, each episode we spin the Spin-a-Rooski. It's a wheel of names that might belong, hopefully, to the woman who so generously shoved Mr. Patrick and I into the Ugly Club all those years ago. The goal, of course, is to eventually land on her name and thank her properly. Mr. Patrick, are we ready to fire that bad boy up?
Let's do it.
Do you have your gloves on so you don't get any splinters?
Oh, yeah, I did have to find some because last week, got some splinties.
All right, Patrick, spin that Rooski.
Round she goes. So fun. We're going to get a good one this week.
Ooh. I think so.
Quinn.
Yes. Quinn. Wow. Quinn.
I don't know any Quinns, but I love the name.
I do know a Quinn, but Quinn's a man.
Oh.
That's interesting. I never knew Quinn was asexual.
Quinn was on. Quinn was a character on Glee, if I recall correctly, or at least I heard about that. Never saw that show. No,
nerd. What?
Yeah, that was one of the characters on.
Interesting. Wow, that one really. I think that took us both out. Like, whoa, Quinn. Yeah. Well, Quinn, my goodness, if you're listening, thank you so much. I hope it was you that shoved Mr. Patrick and I so generously into the Ugly Club all those years ago in the basement of Boomers in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. You're a delight. And we can't thank you enough for shoving us out of the way so you could talk to the Silver Fox himself, who's, by the way, it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Joe. You're the man. Silver Foxing.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's silver foxing extra silver. No way, man. Happy birthday. No, he makes it look good. He's got the salt pepper thing. There's nothing that boy can do that makes him look gross. No, it's disgusting, and I hate him for it. It is. So, thank you, Quinn. You rock our worlds.
Well, Steve, it's about time for some shout outs, and I will go ahead first. I was going to just shout out Mr. Joe since it is his birthday.
Yay!
Just want to say you're the man. You know, I know, Steve, you consider him a good friend. I consider him a friend, but he's also my brother-in-law, so it's pretty awesome having him around. And, you know, all those years ago, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. I mean, maybe physically on Earth, or maybe, but the fact that we're doing this podcast, you know, living with the shame and regret for 20 years has allowed us to at least speak to the public and to share our story. And so I appreciate all you've done for us, Joe, even if it's backhandedly.
I agree with that. I do have an additional shout out, but I do want to add happy birthday, my man, the man of a million nicknames. Sincerely, I hope you have an awesome one. So my shout out should probably come as no surprise. I genuinely want to thank the entirety of the DisruptHR team, the sound techs, like everybody that had a hand in making that night what it was. It went off without a hitch. Like there was never a moment where audio got fuzzy or someone's mic dropped. That like nothing like that happened, and that is not on accident. There is a shit ton of work that goes on in the background, and I think every single one of those people that had a hand in that deserves some serious praise. So this is my opportunity to say, really well done. It was a masterclass in just executing effectively. So thank you guys all so much. And I'm going to make it a point to add some bits in the show notes about individuals that make the DisruptHR Milwaukee team what it is, because they are just fascinating and amazing people.
Very well said, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Thanks. Well, I think that's about it, right, man?
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Uggos out there. That's it for this episode. We thank you again. You're a delight. And I suppose we'll see you next time. Oh. Wow. I really felt the energy of that.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's been a while.
Nice job.
We haven't recorded in a while. I mean,
I know. Yeah.
You know.
And I'm a little sad we didn't sing happy birthday to Mr. Joe.
You don't want to hear that.